a war for our national security. The FBI is leading the charge.
The Federal Bureau of Investigation, FBI Director Kash Patel announcing the agency has arrested 113 hostile foreign spies, including 62 Chinese operatives. They're running active undercover intelligence missions targeting American technology, our defense secrets, and a lot more.
The shocking details laid out in a post on X from the FBI director, reading this, quote, 113 active spies from foreign countries arrested. Counterintelligence arrests have jumped 53%, 4,800 cartel arrests and 850 active plotters stopped, 77% surge in cyber indictments. This FBI is doing the work. So joining us now for a deeper dive, two retired FBI supervisory special agents, Chris Hinkle and John Nantz. Great to have you gentlemen this morning. So that is a big jump there with a 53% surge in counterintelligence arrests this year. Chris, starting with you, how much of that spike is due to an increase in actual hostile foreign activity versus maybe the FBI being more aggressive in this area?
I think it's a combination of both. I can tell you from my time working counterintelligence matters, the administration that comes in, DOJ and FBI, can dramatically change focus. In 2009, shortly after Obama took office, we shifted from focus on Chinese, on the China threat, which was our actual real-time threat, especially down in Mississippi where I was working, to Russian. Everything was Russian, Russian, Russian. And we were forced to focus on the Russian threat, looking under every rock, even though a number of us had been working counterintelligence threats for years and knew that that threat wasn't present. We were still required to look at it. That put a strain on the FBI at the time because you can only ride one horse. You can't ride two horses with one behind. And trying to have only two or three, maybe about four FBI agents in a state focused on counterintelligence issues, having to shift their entire focus to a threat that we knew was probably non-existent in the state of Mississippi was significant. So I think that the FBI seems to be getting back on the right track by focusing on this and being unaggressive and recognizing the threat and attacking the threat no matter where it may be.
John, Director Patel announced that over 60 Chinese operatives were expelled just so far this year. From an operational standpoint, how do you decide when you arrest and prosecute a foreign spy versus quietly expelling them and protecting classified sources or the methods used to uncover this person?
Well, if these people were members of consulates or embassies, and you don't have the probable cause to make an espionage arrest, a really good tool is to PNG those individuals, which means persona non grata. So they're ejected from the United States, and they are no longer able to return. And what this represents is a really effective disruption in Chinese intelligence networks. So these numbers are very historic, and it's a real testament to the leadership of Kash Patel. These counterintelligence arrests really kind of show the lie, which has been promulgated by a lot of people, that the FBI's counterintelligence mission is really quote unquote circular and doesn't produce any results. So these 113 arrests, that number is really astonishing. I spent the first part of my career as a counterintelligence agent, and would have loved to have been able to promote, to put out a statistic like that. So it's very impressive, and it has a tremendous impact on our national security. It means that our secrets are safer today than they were under the Biden administration.
Yeah, that's great intel, John, because that puts it in context for our viewers and for us to know that that number is actually quite a lot. Speaking of quite a lot, we know nearly 1,000 additional field agents have been reallocated to state-sponsored threats. Now, that's a massive influx, and maybe it's been taken away from other aspects, other task forces or programs. So, Chris, do you fear that that may be too many eyes off other areas we should be focused on?
No, I think they're getting a good balance right now of putting the agents that are on board into the programs that they need. I think this, what we're seeing now is just the results of this reallocation of agents into the threats that are presented against the United States. I noted from this increased work against the Chinese, they're really after our technology. They just like to take it. In the first 5 years I was in the FBI, I worked intellectual property rights crimes. Sounds kind of boring, but actually it's not. It costs the American taxpayer a lot of money. So when you're seeing in some of the reporting from the FBI, the average family's losing $3,000 to $4,000 a year. These arrests protect American technological superiority and ultimately American lives. And the American people should understand this isn't abstract beltway talk. It's about keeping the communities and their country safe.
Yeah, John, I think that a lot of people don't realize spying isn't illegal. If you're a spy, say a Chinese spy, and you come into the country, you register. That's what you could do. A lot of them don't. And so we know that there's usually about 400 to 500 foreign agents working in the United States that we know of. How many non-registered spies do we think we have? And how big is this problem?
Well, that's the real question. That's the very troubling question. In fact, there's a lot of speculation that we don't really have a handle, on the Chinese intelligence or espionage threat. I think this big number it gives a lot of weight and credibility to that argument. I mean, it's really impossible to say how many specifically unregistered counter or intelligence operatives there are in this country. It just just by the very definition of unregistered. So the FBI is uniquely qualified to try to get a handle on this problem. There simply is no other agency that has the depth of institutional knowledge that is able to move on these subjects with such rapidity. And in such depth and with such breadth. So there really is no other federal agency that can produce these kinds of results.
All right, Chris Hinkle, John Nantz, thank you so much. It really is amazing. You look at these numbers, 850 active plotters stopped. 4,800 arrests related to international drug cartels. So when we're talking foreign agents, spies, it covers a whole swath of issues facing our country.